Hi, this is Bobby. I'd like to thank you for placing an order. In this video review, we're going to look at some tips and recommendations that you could apply to the website in order to increase your conversions and ultimately your sales. So I got your message through the system. I'd like to thank you for going ahead and getting the extended gig analysis. Definitely allow me to go more in depth and cover some more advanced strategies to optimizing your website. So you gave me the URL. I pulled it up here. You also gave me the URL of your main competitor, which after looking at it, it's a very good thing that you did, because a lot of what I will speak to, you'll kind of see it represented on their site to kind of serve as a form of maybe validation and strengthen kind of your belief in kind of the recommendations that I have. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through the website from the user's perspective, provide some tips along the way, and ultimately try to better the user experience again, which should lead to that increase in conversions and sales. So first up, it's commonly known that when a visitor lands on a website for the first time, you have between 5 and 7 seconds to capture their attention. And in that 5 to 7 seconds, you want to answer 3 questions. The first question is, who are you and what do you do? So your Dragon's Bet, you got a nice branded logo that tells me who you are. So job well done. What is it that you do? Browse says here, get started. Browse our best tipsters today. Doesn't really tell me too much of what you do, right? Now going back and looking at maybe the other site, it tells you the best sports betting tips. So what you want to do is, I usually recommend right under the logo, is just explicitly state what it is you do in plain and simple terms, so people immediately know what they're going to get on the site, and they're in fact at the right place. So you want to have something similar, very plain, professional tips, sports betting tips or whatever, professional sports betting picks. You definitely want to change it up. You don't want to use the exact same thing, but you get the idea of the importance of explaining who it is, who you are, and what it is that you do. So once you answer that question, the second question lies in the areas of trust and credibility, and this is where maybe these guys are branded. I'm seeing domain authority, page authority pretty high, pretty good Alexa ranking. They have a decent, page rank, which tells me they've been building out the site. So this site maybe has the brand where they don't have to showcase their trust and credibility. And if I was recommending or doing a review on this site, I would say leverage any social media that you have, right? Or the size of your site. So going back to yours, showing some trust and credibility, how many members do you have on the site, right? If you could say something like join the hundreds of thousands who get professional picks every day, who get winning picks daily, or maybe, in business since 2005, depending on the age of the site. I'm getting the sense that it's a new site, just seeing kind of placeholder material, looking at the blog, etc. So obviously you can't use maybe the history of your company or your business or your brand, but maybe what you could do is engage in a social media building campaign designed to build up your likes on Facebook and Twitter. So quite cheaply, you could run a campaign, maybe leveraging people's being sports fans, right? So maybe for now you target Chicago Blackhawks, Tampa Bay, maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers, and maybe Golden State Warriors. Do a campaign targeting those people who've shown a like to those brands, and get them to maybe make their pick on who's going to win the championship and like the page, right? And all of a sudden you get this number up to a significant amount, say a couple of thousand, or over 1,000, or even a few hundred. And then what you could do is place the widget on your site that shows, it gives people the ability to like the brand. It's a little blue button you've naturally seen. And it also shows how many people have liked the page. And if you have it at a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand, that definitely is a form of social proof, and people just feel more comfortable in engaging with the site and learning more about what it's about, because they'll say, oh look, thousands of people already pretty much recommended it on their social media profile. So building the trust and credibility is very important, and I just highlighted maybe one way you could do it based on the fact that you're just starting out. But that's just one recommendation. Another recommendation, and that's why a little bit of the delay in kind of talking just now, is that you can leverage all of the, maybe they have a certain win rate, and maybe that win rate is in line with professional picks that they have to pay big money for, right? So all of a sudden you could talk, a 68.97 win rate over the last 1,000 games, right? It just shows the trust and credibility in the quality of your picks, right? And these charts start to indicate it a little bit, but being plain and showing actual numbers that people could relate to and understand is something that could really show that, all right, there's some very good information being provided here, and that is a form of trust and credibility because you're saying that, look, we have really good pickers as part of our site. Next question you want to answer, the third and final one, is differentiating yourself from the competition. Or in a way, establishing your value proposition, your mission statement, your unique selling proposition, all kind of the same, but basically answering the question of, if I'm your ideal customer, why should I work with you and your brand and your site as opposed to any other site available to me online? So let's go to BetAdvisor and have a look at what they're doing, right? Proven professional tipsters is kind of their value proposition. Right, and then they have a responsibility to reinforce that they're proven, right? So you could use something similar, where you could talk about the quality of the picks, right? And more importantly, what they're doing is they have, and I'll get to this later, but you'll see that there's a lot of sales and marketing in here in this headline to kind of introduce them to the site. So not only are they including their value proposition, being proven professional tipsters, but they also have a lot of sales and marketing in this copy, which we'll get to a later date. But that being said, you want to, what makes you different or unique, right? Proven, or maybe you could put statistically or financially, something to talk maybe to the return on their investment they get, or as they worded it, their yield, right? Maybe you use that type of angle as kind of your differentiator, in that your picks make a difference to their bottom line, right? Using that type of language might be something you may want to introduce as your differentiator in the presentation of your site. In any case, answering those three questions, what you'll do is you'll reduce anxiety. You'll kind of prime the visitor to browse and shop or participate with confidence, which ultimately is what you want to establish as early as possible. So the way in which they take in all of the rest of the presentation of the website is more favorable than if they don't know anything about you, they don't know if they can trust you, and you haven't really defined yourself in being different or unique compared to maybe, not just being another site. Right. So moving right on along, the next thing I'm going to talk to is this area, kind of the welcome area, as you've naturally described it, and you have a call to action that you really want them to take to get started, right? So this is your conversion, and then I'm sure there's other ways in which you monetize. Maybe you get them involved with different sports books, hedging lines or whatever, who knows? But all to say is your conversion is this this call to action. So that being said, understand that people read from top left to bottom right, right? So when they get to here, they're going to make a decision of whether or not to register right away based on the information you provided previously. So what you have right now is get started, browse the best tipsters today. What are you waiting for? So I guess the only kind of benefit that I see and reason to register right now is to be able to browse the best tipsters. But maybe part of me thinks I can browse without signing up. You give me the ability to view profiles. Maybe the picks are there. So you're losing your opportunity to get people to convert at this level. So what I'm going to recommend now is you start to introduce some benefits to your system, right? And going back to BetAdvisor, what you'll see is they're telling you, and this is kind of the format to creating a good headline. Is one, you have a main advantage, differentiator, proven professional tipsters. And also you try to talk to the emotional side of the user experience, right? So you want to get them either curious or excited or ultimately motivated, right? Motivated to want to stay tuned or engage with the site, learn more, get involved, participate. So they're telling you stop gambling, invest. Changes the way that they're thinking. It's a little bit of a shakeup mentally and saying, okay, well, yeah, I'm not here jonesing in this big gambler. I'm about to invest my money for something that's going to bring me back a profitable return, right? So they're setting the stage for kind of the mindset by letting them know that, listen, this is not just a, take our advice and throw some money at it and hope you win crapshoot. This is an investment that you're going to make, and we provide yields, right? The wording is very important too. The yield is that's a financial term. So it kind of falls in line with the whole investment theme. So that being said, going back to yours, you want to introduce some benefits. So let's say, return on their investment. You use the ROI angle. Discover why. I'm giving you a sample headline. You want to do away with actually welcome, the word welcome. You want to go straight to some powerful headlines and copy. Say, discover how you could transform your sports betting with quality picks that bring a high return. So the proposition being quality picks that bring a high return, but you're going to transform their sports betting strategies, right? And they're about to discover that. These are all things that start to provide that little mental shift that I was talking to, and it's something you want to really, get them motivated and excited, and ultimately curious to really want to learn more. So you have this nice statement. They're going to say, "Oh, great. Well, how?" And then what you do is you have some bullet points. I'd say 2 or 3. And the 2 or 3 really starts to talk to some main benefits of the site, right? Make money off the picks from some of our professional odd makers who've had triple-digit increases in profit or return on their investment, right? Basically, you want to give reasons, 3 reasons why they should join. And maybe the best way to go about it, and I apologize for trying to make something up on the fly to sound relevant or whatever. Maybe I don't know the space as much as I should or could to be able to give you a concrete kind of selling point. But what you want to do is think to yourself that, these people who bet on sports, they have kind of a problem, a missing link as part of their strategy that makes them want to come to a site like yours and get involved. Well, what are one of those specific things, right? Maybe they don't have the confidence in their bets, right? So maybe you could talk to the fact that, you may be a good person at picking games, and you could leverage the system to see kind of the consensus of all other professionals to give you the confidence to make that right bet, right? Or maybe you talk to the fact that they don't know how to, see opportunities in different games, and then talk to the fact that you do that as part of the service of your members providing the tips. Or lastly, maybe there's hidden gems. I think I noticed on some of the tips there was kind of UEFA stuff or Champions League, right? And maybe the average North American sports bettor doesn't follow that, right? So maybe you could talk to the fact that you deal in sports worldwide, where there's often some very great opportunities available within these little little known secrets within the different leagues around the world, right? Because it's a global site. So all to say is come up with 3 reasons and pain points that you will address for your for the people who get involved, and then ultimately increase the likelihood that you make that connection and say, "Oh yeah, this is what I've been looking for. Let me register." Or the first one, "That's what I've been looking for. Let me register." "Oh, a nice headline. I'm really motivated and excited to get started. Let me just register to start browsing and getting some of the tips," right? So I spent quite a bit of time on it, but it's very, very important because it's kind of the second layer after that first 5 to 7 seconds, and it really sets the tone to ultimately convert. And now what's going to happen is you should see an increase in the people that convert. And let me just get to this section here. Couple of things I would do is I would use this headline to make it more motivational, right? So get your tips, get free tips right now, register now, or get free tips immediately, register now, right? Something that lets them know what they're going to receive as a result of going through this process. Even though it's free, they know by giving up their email they're going to receive quote unquote potential spam or follow-ups, and that's a cost to them. It costs their time cluttering up their inbox, etc. So it's important to really showcase the value and motivate them to take this step. So what's the benefit? They're going to get free tips immediately, register for free, right? Or something to that effect. That's number 1. Number 2, you're asking them to choose their password. Okay, this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Um, you know, I'm just asking myself, if you could have the system set up where once they enter their email and register, and maybe register, the password gets sent to them by email, and at the same time they automatically get redirected, or not redirected, or they get a confirmation page that says check your link, check your email, click the link, and get instant access to the pics. All to say is, although this is very good, it's just known that if you could reduce the amount of form fields, you'll see it increase in the amount of conversions. So I just thought I'd talk about it, but really three fields, two of which are the same, just to enter their password, which is common as part of a membership or a special area of a website. Not really a big deal. I guess in closing, I would say have something a little bit, more motivational again. So get started now. Maybe get started now with free picks immediately, or get picks immediately. Register now. Maybe the call to action is get picks. So all of a sudden they associate filling in this information to getting picks by clicking the button. Again, just a motivator. You'll likely see a boost in conversions as a result. And just to finish off this whole section, it's not as crisp and clear. It's a little bit heavy on the eyes to really, I think some clarity could be done. So I don't know if you make this a little bit more opaque, less see-through, or maybe you change the font to black. I just think it should pop out a little bit more. It's a very important part of your site. Looking at these guys, they don't do a very good job at it either. They don't have enough of a contrast. I would say it will look good here because this black box would stick out here in this white space. But here, I would definitely recommend on this site even to flip it out and make it more on a white background so it pops out a little bit more. Orange is always a good button. They have that two themes, so they have the green. You have the blue. As close of a color to maybe Amazon orange is always recommended. Psychologically, color plays an important part, and orange just does better than blue, which does better than or green, whatever, yellow. So try it. Just you just want that little boost is ultimately what you want. And if you're able to make these minor improvements across multiple areas of the website, ultimately you're going to see that significant increase that you're looking for because you did that little bit of a improvement across multiple areas. So all to say, from this point, if they don't act, then you maybe have not provided enough value, and then the rest of the homepage is really designed to provide that value. So the other elements you want to include on the page, as it is right now, you have an option to choose a tipster. Okay, is that the natural next step? Should any selling need to be done? Ultimately, it's all about this, right? So what happens when you take them through to the profile page? All of a sudden, I'm starting to look at this type of information, and I'm kind of losing, I'm losing the ultimate goal of your website is to get me to register. So ask yourself, is choosing from one of the tipsters the next best thing for them to get started? If it is, which very well may be, they may have to see a little bit of proof before they're convinced they should get started. Make it very easy for them to get started once they get on this page. So I don't know if you have the technology in place, but maybe on each of these pages you have a clear call to action to get started, right? Get more in-depth picks, or get picks emailed to you by email, or get them free before the game, or right? Let them know what they're looking at. As I come to this page, part of me says, oh well, why do I have to register? I think I could come here and get the scores. This is just shows the results. All right, this is very good. So you get kind of what I'm saying is think about how do you convert them at a later stage if they don't in fact convert that first time. So here's where you maybe try and throw in the registration somewhere on the page as well. Maybe it's a button that just jumps them back to the home page, but their sales and marketing copy really designed to allow them to get started, right? Another thing you want to include on the home page, you definitely want to have some testimonials. So show some people who have taken the, I guess here they are, Dragon Bet reviews. Instead of reviews, what some of our customers are saying. Maybe you have a picture of the person, and have them talk to their experience. This is good. Have it fully signed off on. So John from Oklahoma, May 2015, whatever. So it's a nice and complete testimonial, and people could see what they could potentially experience based on what your people have put in as part of the testimonial. So moving right along, just to finish it up, just talking to a few other things I recommend. If you're just launching, and when you look at kind of the conversion formula, quote unquote, right? Incentive is a very important part of the equation, so to speak. So I'm asking myself, would you get more signups if there was an additional reason to sign up other than just getting tips from the tipsters, right? What if you had some kind of new member contest where once a month you give away prizes for the people based on the people's return on their first 10 picks when they start participating, engaging in the site? You provide the new member incentive to join because it's a limited time, limited space, limited opportunity. So maybe they want to act now as opposed to later, number one. And number two, when you do get them to join, you have a way to instantly have them participating as part of the site. And ultimately, if you effectively get them to, help you go viral, help you get some social media presence through liking and posting, publishing their pics, whatever the case may be, that can really help your efforts. And at the end of the day, the prize could be something small. Could be an Amazon gift card for $50. Could be a Spotify membership. Could be, could be a lot of different things, right? I just gave you a couple of ideas, but anything that you would have a high perceived value or is highly sought after that they may not buy themselves. That's why you see a lot of contests giving away iPads when the iPad first came out, or the next generation, whatever, because they just see it as things that, it's relatively cheap, and at the same time, everyone wants to have an iPad, right? So come up with some kind of contest, promotion, challenge, beginner's challenge, whatever the case may be, as a bonus reason to get involved with the site. Kind of how I do my reviews is I do it as I go along. Things come to mind as I check out the site. I'm also thinking as a solution to kind of that registration is you have a delayed pop-up screen that enable, like, say I come to this page, so now I'm engaged, right? It'd be good that after a while, pop-ups could be timed. It could be based on the distance in which I scroll. Maybe you isolate that when they scroll 50% of the page, that means they're engaged with the content. They're liking what they see. They're seeing the profit. Now maybe you have a pop-up that comes up. Convinced? Get started now and also participate in our new member monthly challenge, weekly challenge. And then you have the form embedded in the pop-up itself and give yourself a second opportunity to try to get them to convert. And obviously there's a technology that doesn't overwhelm them, so it doesn't happen on every page that they go to, but maybe it happens once they click on one of the tipsters' profile pages, for example. Other things you definitely want to, you want to build out. I'm just looking at your SEO. Maybe the site is not fully set up as yet, but I do see that, make sure your titles are set up properly. So the titles in your of your web page, behind the code. Maybe you want to have sports betting tips here, as this is what you call your H1 tag. So choose your tipster to start making money with free sports betting tips. You can help this page rank for free sports betting tips in Google over time when you do some SEO. Your blog, you definitely want to do some research, see what people are searching for relative to betting. And maybe you start writing some blog posts. So maybe someone types up Euro 2016 betting lines, right? And then maybe you write an article that's like finding the sweet spot in the Euro 2015 betting lines, and you talk about what to look for, as an article. But the fact that you're writing an article about that keyword increases the likelihood that A, Google associates that keyword to your site, and B, the likelihood that the blog post will rank for that keyword and ultimately help you to get that organic traffic over time. Now I'm talking about it, unfortunately the sports betting industry is a very competitive market. I myself have been in it since 2000. I no longer do it actually, but I got involved with affiliate marketing back in the early 2000, where I built out affiliate sites of all types, including sports betting. So I have a bit of experience in the space. I can tell you it's a very mature and very competitive space. Hopefully you have that secret sauce for traffic and that ability to drive low-cost traffic or free traffic to the site in hopes of driving your business and your brand that way. But ultimately, a lot of it's going to come down to your effectiveness in doing your SEO, building out your blog, your content marketing strategy, leveraging Facebook, social media, etc., and really building that authority for the site that will help you get those rankings, that free traffic, and ultimately build your business that way. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, I covered the main challenge, I think, for the site, and that is, you know, really establishing the brand, motivating the people to convert. You know, I guess, you know, looking at this site, you know, these types of, you know, historical data is always good to shows as a group overall, this is what this site provides, right? So whether you have 2 members or 2,000 members, you're getting these types of collective data, which if it's favorable, is a very positive thing. I guess that pretty much concludes the review. I think what I'll do is I'll leave it open. I noticed you went to Concordia University, I believe. So I assume you might be a Montreal native. I'm a Montreal native. So I'll leave it open. I'll leave it open for you guys for any questions or comments you may have. You know, maybe you're going to make some changes, some updates, want me to have another quick look, something like that. No problem at all. But I'll leave it open to any questions or comments you may have. Just message me through the system. So once again, I thank you very much for placing the order, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.